Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and while Wizards was busy at San Diego Comic-Con releasing an absolute mountain of information, I was busy working an 18-hour day outdoors. Yay! My other job sucks, and of course we have to travel all over the place for my other job. And this was pretty far, and we just happened to be driving right straight through the wonderful weather that Wisconsin had yesterday. And let's see if I can even remember what all happened, because lightning struck really close to our truck and my head still hurts. It was about 500 or 1,000 feet away, which by the way is really bright and really loud. Driving there, we had to pull over because it wasn't even raining. It was just dumping sheets of water like some fake movie water and a cheap budget movie. That's right, I give Wisconsin special effects a 0 out of 10. Everybody was pulling over, especially under the underpasses, because I guess that's something you do. I don't know. I think people think it will protect you from a tornado where really it'll just not get your car messed up by hail, neither of which were in the area. But I mean, if you're going to pull over somewhere, whatever. Because I mean, nobody could see where the hell they were driving. Oh, and even the Illinois people in their stupid campers were pulling over. That you don't see. Those people will drive through anything. They'll go 90 through a construction zone. Now you guys might say, Des, this is a little extreme. But I've got to say it, I think that Illinois drivers should be taken out with a drone strike the second they cross the border into Wisconsin. That's just my opinion, okay? So we were driving on the interstate, we were wondering, boy, why is traffic so slow in the other lane? Oh, there's entire trees tipped over across the interstate. And this was like the forest area. This wasn't just, oh, look, they planted some trees next to the highway, what a bad idea. This is like, there's like 100-year-old forest coming up to the interstate. And then one of the trees on the edge tipped over, which is weird because that's the opposite direction the wind was going. I don't really know how that happened. It could have been lightning, I suppose. I don't know. Then we came across 3 billboards. Remember, I have been everywhere in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Michigan and Illinois. We drive all over the place for our work. So there was 3 billboards that, it's not like I'm trying to memorize billboards, but I see them. I'm like, oh yeah, it's those billboards. That's where we are. A couple miles later, all 3 of them were completely destroyed. Chunks of the billboards were in the middle of the highway. And those things have been there for like 20 years. So by the way, before I forget, during the insane heat on Friday, there was a fire, I guess, at some kind of power substation or something in Madison, I believe it was. And so a huge portion of Madison had no power for like the whole day, and it was like 95 out. Like, first of all, if you live in Madison, just move. There's too many stupid drunk college students in one-way streets. And secondly, if it's 95 degrees out and you got no power and you live in Madison, now it's really time to move. I gotta move to Green Bay. If you live within like a mile of Lambeau, you can charge people like $25 to park on your front lawn during games. That is a real thing that happens. So anyway, back to the other quality weather. There were tornadoes everywhere. I don't even know how many tornadoes hit Wisconsin, but it was a lot. I think I had heard from a friend of mine that the hardest hit was Tomahawk, Wisconsin, which I've been there like 5 times. I've actually been to their theater. It's crap. Their projector made me think I needed glasses. Not saying they had it coming, but apparently their whole power infrastructure was messed up by a tornado. Like, there's so many lines down, and I think like substations or something, or main lines to the city were knocked out. They're going to have no power for up to 2 weeks, is the word. Damn, I mean, in my area in the past, the longest, this is a while ago, but the longest I think we've ever been without power was like 3.5 days. And I'm thinking that one, my apartment only didn't have power for like 1 day. I mean, they get on it, so major shout out and ultra kudos and internet points and virtual hugs and all of the dankest cat memes go out to anybody who was out there at like 2 in the damn morning still working, welding stuff, putting up emergency replacement power poles, rerunning lines, putting in new capacitors, taking lines off of people's front lawns so they don't step onto the lawn and get fried. All the police and firefighters that were out clearing trees. I mean, my mom went over to my house to make sure power was still on, and it was, which like just about my whole damn city got knocked out. And she had to turn around and take like 5 different routes because you just couldn't get through the roads. There were down power lines. There were just entire trees tipped over. I mean, just blown debris, chunks of trees. So she had to call me and tell me which route to take home if I even wanted to go home, which they didn't have power. I did, so guess where I'm going. And yeah, if I would have taken the normal road, there was an entire tree tipped over and they just put some caution tape out there and we're like, we'll dick around with this tomorrow. I feel bad for my neighbors, but it's not like my house was unscathed. But my sump pump in my basement runs like constantly. Like, it could have rained out like 3 days ago. It'll still be running. Like, we got huge drainage problems on this lot. It's because my dickish neighbors built a garage and graded it like 3 feet in the damn air. And now everything runs into my backyard. Thanks. And my foundation is crap. They had to, before I bought the house, actually, they did half the basement with brand new cement and brand new drain tile under it, which feeds into the sump pump, which I don't have a battery backup for because it draws 1,400 watts. Allegedly, that's the listed peak. I have trouble believing that. Let's put it that way. So I would need to get an automatic one, like $1,000 APC. No thanks. But if I'm home, we're going to do it the hood-ass way, which is I've got like a 1,000-watt inverter, and I still don't think it draws 1,400. Oh, fun tip, by the way, if you don't want to buy a generator, but you want to be prepared for a power outage, which you should be, why don't you just drop like, 50 to $100 instead of like $700, because you already have something where you pour hydrocarbon fuel into and then it combusts it and makes it into electricity. It's called your car. So you can take some jumper cables, put them on a big high capacity inverter, which like I said, 50 to $100 tops, then just run like a 50-foot extension cable in, plug your fridge in, your AC or whatever. That said, anything considered a mechanical motor, which I think would be the pumps on air conditioners and fridge compressors, I'm not 100% sure, you can't run it on a cheapo inverter, which is the square wave ones. You got to get a sine wave one. Because rapid polarity changes will over-accelerate like a piston within a compressor, I think, instead of like a gentle like up-down at 60 times per second if you live in America. So square wave is a jarring back and forth. True sine wave inverters, which are much more expensive, those you can run anything on. So theoretically, yeah, I probably would have overheated eventually my sump pump motor or my aircon, but like, whatever. Better than my basement flooding. So I just assumed, I'm like, well, if my mom's place is out and my friend Eric's place is out, oh crap, my house is between them. So she went over to my house just basically to see how bad the flooding was. And no, I still had power somehow, which, driving home, looking at what parts of my city didn't have power, holy shit did I get lucky. There were blocks, miles without power. I actually thought that I got off on the wrong exit on the highway and was driving down the wrong place because there were so many lights off, I didn't recognize the buildings or the signs or anything. It was weird. Every single stoplight, the police had to come unfold the little stop sign because people are dumb as shit and don't realize that if the lights go out or malfunction, treat it as a four-way stop. They have to actually put the stop sign down because, like I said, people are idiots. So, once again, big shout out to anybody out there doing that in the pouring rain. With chunks of trees blowing through the air at like 30 miles an hour. So yeah, all over Wisconsin, there's internet out, power out. A lot of people's homes getting messed up. You wake up and there's a tree in your front lawn. Well, okay, there's probably normally a tree in your front lawn. It's like in your living room now. I got home and there's some sizable chunks of my neighbor's tree in my lawn. I think it's actually my neighbor's tree. Most of my garden's pretty destroyed. It's pretty minor shit. Like some of my siding was kind of fucked up. Gotta get on the roof later, fix a couple of my shingles. That's a bitch, but whatever. Better than basement flooding because I'm still not prepared with everything off the ground from the last time we had some issues. I think I only lost 10,000 magic cards last time. So that sucked. But yeah, it had to be when I was like 200 or 300 miles away, of course, and not getting home for 18 hours. That had to be when we had a giant storm power outage, so I gotta call people and have them deal with this shit. I'm so mad about my garden, man. I had some really good beans and shit going in there. I had some carrots and all that. A lot of it just tipped over and got kind of messed up. I think I can repair most of it, though. So yeah, this sucks. I had a hell of a day. Oh, and at the job, we had to be outside running around doing stuff. Obviously, I can't really say what we were doing. But, it was cool out, but for most of it, it was just sheets of rain pounding on us. And my shoes and socks got just soaked like I was walking through a river within about 10 minutes. So then I had to be outside for like 15 hours straight with soaking wet shoes and socks on. That was fun. I tried to dry off my socks with a lighter that I rigged to have way too big of an output, and I accidentally lit them on fire. So then I didn't have any socks. So, the only thing good about it was the temperature. Everything was soaked. It was bad. Just a bad job to be working. So that was a miserable time, and then I come home and I'm like, oh shit, my city got destroyed. Oh well. So what's the point of this story? Well, you guys know if you've been watching my channel long enough, I consider myself a total and utter prepper. Not necessarily those doomsday morons. Although, come on, climate change. But, speaking of that, weather emergencies. Because, we have those all the time in Wisconsin. We constantly have tornadoes knocking shit out. So, I got 2 inverters. I got, spare batteries. I know how to wire that shit up. I got other ways to cook food. We got dry food. I'm honestly sitting on about a year worth of food. You want to learn how to do that right on YouTube. I got that shit done for about $75. And I got high output and high efficiency flashlights, spare giant lithium battery cells, chargers. I got solar chargers, Got battery-powered radios, other forms of communication. I mean, I'm all set for, like, the basic stuff. And like I said, a grand total with everything I got, if you don't count the guns and ammo, couple $100. That's it. Which, when you're in the middle of, oops, we've got no power for days, all of a sudden you're going to want to spend a couple $100 on anything. So I really, because I got to make some money, got to make a video about all that crap that happened yesterday at San Diego Comic-Con. But after that, I'm running around, help my friends power up their fridges, get inverters and generators running, and rewire stuff, clean up the front lawn with, because I got saws that don't require power. I mean, helping people patch windows and shit, because I got plastic sheeting. So, like, I would encourage everybody, no matter where you live, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, you don't know if it's just going to be a one-day storm, you got no power for an hour, and you just want to, like, charge up a cell phone or whatever, or if you're like, oh, crap, Hurricane Katrina. Anything in between, well, that and World War III, like, anything in between, I would strongly recommend everybody just take basic precautions, get some emergency gear, you know, just have, like, a little medical kit around the house and everything. I mean, you can look up on YouTube. I always watch safety, emergency, and prepper channels. Some of them are loons, some of them keep it real. I mean, the best one out there is probably Reality Survival. I was actually on one of his podcasts one time live. I got no sleep and did a terrible job and didn't research the topic properly, and it was a complete disaster, but I did do it. And hey, leave a comment down below if you want me to just, for no reason, have him on my channel on a live stream so we can answer questions about prepping. I mean, I'm pretty sure every single one of you is just going to ask, do you think that after World War III, all civil disputes between gangs of marauders will be settled with magic card duels? And I mean, I'll answer that right now. The answer is clearly yes. But, you know, I could go on and on about what I'm, you know, set for and emergency plans and where to go and how to handle certain situations and, you know, basic medical training crap. But, like, why? I'd just be repeating everything I learned from YouTube. So stay on YouTube. Just jump headfirst down the rabbit hole of emergency preparedness, and you won't get caught by surprise in a real bad scenario, which, I mean, even California, you know, very uncommonly bad weather there. I mean, you got the drought, but, like, whatever, that's a slow thing, but, oh, wait, that's right, earthquakes. And you want to see what happens to public utilities during earthquakes, okay? Like, I got enough water filters to last me about 5 to 10 years for, like, $40. Imagine we got no clean water for 30 days while they rebury pipes in the ground because the ground cracked open. Oh, a lot of trade value in one of those. So, I mean, shit happens. Be prepared. And I mean, trust me, I've been in a lot of bad scenarios where infrastructure and shit goes down. And, like, houses are getting destroyed and all this shit. People's cars are getting destroyed from hail. Cell networks go down. I mean, the shit gets real. Like, I was like, what is this, 1840? When I microwaved a burrito and it blew the circuit because it was on the same one as my computer. Oh, tragedy of tragedies. Well, try waking up, no power, no cell phone, no data, no internet, no water. Yeah. Oh, and no way to microwave a burrito. FYI. Yeah, don't wait until one of these things happens to you to give a shit. You want to be that dude out on the front lawn with a propane thing, cooking eggs, waving at your neighbors while you're charging your cell phone off a solar panel. By the way, speaking of that, you guys are going to think that I'm making this up. I assure you I am not. Though my impression of what was going on could be wrong, okay? This is Wisconsin. I do believe that I said on the last live stream, if anybody from Wisconsin is going to raid Area 51 on September, whatever the hell, we're just there because people are going to be there because it's a thing, okay? And if there's a thing, we're going to tailgate it. Football season ain't even for a couple months, but we will tailgate anything, anytime. All right, we're going to show up with the brats. We're going to show up with the burgers. Okay, we're going to get that crowd out. We got the Sweet Baby Rays. We got the mustard. We got something for everybody. Okay, we're going to party. We ain't running into Area 51, but we'll watch while we're eating the brat. I heard a rumor, some of you don't know what that is. Bratwurst, okay? Everybody from Wisconsin is from Germany. It's just grillable sausage. So anyway, we pull up at, 2 in the morning when we get home from our trip. And we pull around the long way through my parents' neighborhood, you know, because we're going to my dad's house to drop off the truck and the trailer. And we see a bunch of cars over at, like, 2 neighbors' house, and we kind of know who they are, you know. Nice guys, by the way. They take care of one of their disabled family members, just absolutely wonderful people. And there was like 8 cars out there. They're sitting in the garage with the lights on because the power had just come back on, according to my mom, like at like 1 in the morning. And we're like, what are they doing? Like there's no trees down because they don't have any trees on that side. They're just like over there. I'm like, well, maybe they're like dealing with the power outage. But like, okay, first of all, the power's been on for like an hour. But as we're pulling up, my dad's like, what are they doing? Because we just saw them kind of sitting in the garage and there's cars and they're not really doing anything. And there's some chairs, and so I'm like, I bet you they're tailgating. He's like, no, tailgating. I'm like, no, they're tailgating. Dude, the power was out. You tailgate. That's what you do. You go, well, if the fridge is down, you cook everything in the fridge, first of all. I mean, probably hit the freezer first. It depends what you got. I mean, that's what you do when you have a power outage in Wisconsin. You call up all your friends, you're like, come eat all my food. Like, shit's going bad, get out the grill, you know? And so we roll past real slow just to kind of, you know, spy on them and wave and be like, hey, what's up? Okay, it's two houses, two neighbors together with, like, between them a bunch of cars, a bunch of people. 2 grills out, okay? I saw 2 grills out. They were legit tailgating that shit, I kid you not. Oh, but that's just a cookout. You're just calling it tailgating because you're from Wisconsin. No! There were 6 pickup trucks there. That's tailgating. If your friends show up in a truck with a grill and there's food in the back, that's tailgating. Yes, they were sitting in the garage. It's still tailgating. Yes, there was absolutely no sports event going on live at 2 in the morning in the middle of my parents' neighborhood. It's still tailgating. So, I mean, I joke about it, but, like, you know, at the same time, we do that. So no matter where you're at, be prepared. And if you're in Wisconsin at any time, be prepared for random tailgating. All right, I got to go deal with all kinds of emergency shit. I'll see you guys next video.